Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome to Beyond All Reason. We're back with another, actually not another, we're back with just a regular 5v5 match here. We're on, I actually don't remember this map, I'm sorry, Altered Divide, there we go. See, it's because I'm rusty, okay, we'll chalk it down to that. But we have, leading the Cool Colors team, a guy who likes the sky. We have definitely a pretty good mid-range game here today for sure. So it is a viewer submitted submission. So thank them for that. They know who they are. Bison here in the Cortex, the red commander leading the warm colored team. Going to be starting with a bot lab there. I didn't see. The guy who likes the sky is going to be going Armada. Let's go. So he's blue and Armada. I don't think I can think of a better thing in the world, except maybe these awesome drawings. I already deleted a load of them, but I guess they were drawing while they were spawning in too. I mean, this is crazy. I like Lube's plan. That's how I'm saying that. Just go straight over the mountain, you know? I don't see anything wrong with that, and I hope you don't either. If you do enjoy these types of videos, make sure to like and subscribe. I make them at least every week, trying to be a little bit more often than that, but, you know, life is life, and some things don't get done the way we want them to. So our air player here, Large Frog it seems, already with a fence out, the little scout plane there, so Cortex Air, and he is on 3 mexes. A little bit low in energy there, but yeah, already producing fighters this early on. Pretty impressive, I have to say, especially for being like the lowest TS rated player on his team. So yeah, good job for him. For our air player on the cool colored team, I actually don't see it. I mean, if we were just to go straight across, it'd be a guy who likes the sky, but he is starting bot. Not that, of course, you can't transition into air. And similar to my last game that I casted, I do believe that actually starting with the bot lab is a little bit better than starting just plain air. Just because starting plain air, plain air, yes, painting and plain air. Starting in plain air is just very, very eco inefficient. It's actually kind of like starting with bots and then kind of expanding your economy and then starting fighters, because let's be real, nobody's building, you know, these kind of expensive bombers, you know, 150 metal for these bombers. Nobody's making that straight off the bat. If they did, that'd be pretty impressive. And even if you only got 1 or 2 out, it's not going to be super effective. And then enemy AA is built up, and honestly, you kind of wasted your initiative. So I believe starting bots into air is better. But enough about me whinging. Let's watch this poor grunt from Death Tortoise here fight it out to the last. And yeah, he did go down there. But he did his best, and that's what's important. All these players are doing their best. And also I have my mini-map up. I don't know if that was last game or 2 games ago. Don't know what happened. I think I turned it off in settings on accident, and that was pretty impressive by me, I do have to say. Sometimes my own genius is astonishing. So we do have Bison just rolling straight down the middle here, following Makochoko. That's how I'd say that. Yeah, seems to be just arraying his grunts into a more defensive manner. Yes, this is Altered Divide, so pretty mountainous terrain if we do, you know, go to like a lower level view here. Pretty mountainous, a lot of mexes here right in the middle of the map where everything is going to be contested, as well as some pretty risky geothermal power plant spots here. I'm not sure if I'd ever grab these. You'd have to be kind of already winning the game to grab any of these. Maybe this one's pretty safe, and this one's pretty safe as well. But definitely like this one in the middle, I don't know who's grabbing that. I think you're already going to be winning by that point. But we'll see. We'll see if what I say comes to pass, which of course it will. I am a prophet. It's one of my many skills. A guy who likes the sky, all the way into the warm colored team's base, almost with some ticks, you know, 6 ticks. They could get some damage done, take out a few mexes if they're lucky, which they might be. Maximus is commander here in the pink, playing Armada. Let's go. Armada, homie. Couple ticks going to be going down there, and yeah, this tick drive-by not going to be super successful. There is still one left, but there's not a lot of free mexes to grab, and yeah, taken out by the old laser tower there. How all ticks meet their fate, more than likely. Grunts here going to be aggressing on Makocho, even though he has more grunts than the red player, than Bison. But, you know, also Bison, I'm kind of getting confused. I want to say Beyond, like the STARCRAFT player, but we're not playing STARCRAFT, folks. We're playing Beyond All Reason. Much different game. I'd love to see STARCRAFT pros play Beyond All Reason. Wouldn't that be really cool? I wonder how much their micro and their game skills would translate to this game. I feel like pretty well. I honestly kind of think that even our best Beyond All Reason players would kind of get rinsed by any other pro from like a more popular RTS, but I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. Maybe I'll give them a couple games of warm-up, and then they might get rinsed. You never know. just because I feel like APM and micro and stuff like that is kind of transferable among a lot of RTS games, kind of like FPS games. Like if you're good at Battlefield, you're probably going to be good at Call of Duty, right? It's just kind of the way things are. So Grunt's here. Grunt on grunt battles, but we are starting to get some thugs out here as well. The light plasma bots, which actually are probably one of my favorite T1 units in the game, even though they are Cortex. They have really nice range. They have a nice projectile. I love my units with projectiles. You know, laser units, kind of lame. You don't get to miss with laser units, right? You get to miss with projectile units, and that's my favorite part, right? Reminds me of artillery, and artillery is the bestest. Maximus pushed up, as well as Zydeco and Napoleon blown apart, which I feel like I've seen that name before. Very funny. Or even if I haven't seen it before, it's going to be stuck in my mind now. So there you go. Napoleon blown apart, forever making an imprint on my brain. But yeah, Maximus is kind of the only guy pushed up on the left side here. Bison, definitely, he has some units out here as well, but he's trying to push towards the middle. But yeah, this purple player is doing very, very well here. Pushing back the top-rated player on the warm color team. Nothing to scoff at. Maximus's army, also nothing to scoff at. Mix of grunts and pawns, which does he have? I mean, I know he started Armada. I'm not sure how he has grunts that aren't resurrected. They might have just been gifted to him, which is very nice. Whoever did that. Going to be 2v1 soon. The air player kind of not dragging his team down. I mean, he'll be good once he gets going, but it's kind of rough right now just because he's not able to put units out onto the field that are offensively oriented. And he's making, yeah, actually, I mean, shurikens are really nice, but you have to build more than shurikens eventually, right? Especially because shurikens just go down so quick. They're good for like a one-time play, basically. And then your opportunity is kind of wasted because shurikens die really easily, even to stuff like grunts and pawns, just because they're very low-flying air units, so you don't even really need anti-air for grunts. Although, you know, if you do have some, you know, missile trucks, those are very, very nice to have as well against shurikens. Louis B, that's how I'm saying that. Luz was too weird. Pushed up. Again, you know, right across the mountain, where he said he'd be, trying to make this vehicle plant pretty in a forward position, I would say. And he still has his bot left back here, too, so it's not the end of the world if this does end up going down, which it might, but he seems to be pretty safe for now. A couple of yellow units got in there, but for now, a guy likes the sky is covering his left flank, and Makochoko and Mr. Thomas are going to be, ooh, yeah. Bison getting a lot of kills there, but he might be killed himself here. And it does seem like our red commander is going to be going down there. So our top-rated player on the warm-colored team going to be going down. No way, yes. Maximus does have his tier 2 lab up, which I do believe is the only guy with tier 2 in the whole game. So props to Maximus, not even the top-rated player on either side. Already killing it, both in the front line and in the back line with his little lab there, so we'll see what he ends up making out of there. Probably, yeah, some hounds. And I think someone did pay him for a construction bot. I do believe Large Frog did. I'm not entirely sure where that is, when it's going to be produced, stuff like that. The guy who likes the sky with these rocket bots, they're doing some good damage. They're doing good poke damage. Again, rocket bots, great unit just because it can get a ton of value just by sitting back, and they're not really in danger of anything else in T1 except other rocket bots, basically, right? Maybe some light artillery if you're getting that in there, too. The hounds are finally reaching the front line here for Maximus. Kind of just walking around, though. Not getting a lot of damage in. You know, dogs, they're absent-minded. What can you say? I think that is... No, not sure. Napoleon blown apart, and Zydeco kind of just holding down the fort over here against Death Tortoise. Because we do have Mr. Thomas just going more towards the middle here instead of around here. So Death Tortoise is kind of just having a hold on his own, but doing a good job. But Napoleon and Zydeco are also doing fantastic jobs themselves. Maximus, despite having T2, man, he is, there's a lot of pressure put on this poor guy. Some shurikens are here to help from Large Frog, but this is nothing like having two actual ground-based players supporting you. So we are going to need Large Frog to get some value in this game if we do want with the warm-colored team to have a chance of securing all these mech spots in the middle here. That's a big thing, too. Like a lot of the metal, right in the middle of the map where you're going to be fighting over, so you need that secure front line. We do have Napoleon blown apart's commander going down there, thanks to the Death Tortoise thugs. Of course the thugs are taking out commanders. Can't stand those guys. I take back everything I said earlier. Horrible unit. Morally corrupt. Everything else bad you want to say about them. In terms of eco, we're pretty even here. Obviously some reclaim playing into these numbers as well. But despite the fluctuations, they seem pretty even. Maybe even a little bit more on the warm-colored team, just because probably they have that T2. And looks like we are airlifting a advanced constructor bot for Bison. So he's going to be trying to get his production up there. I do believe Bison does have the best economy on the warm color team, yes. No, Napoleon Bonaparte actually does. He must have some reclaim or something, because 133 on 3 maxes is probably not happening in the real world, eh? Oh, yeah. Oh, no. So his commander does get taken up by Death Tortoise, although I think it was kind of split between the two teams, but maybe Death Tortoise got all of it. I wasn't paying attention. Classic Cronchychomp maneuver, I guess. But Death Tortoise's commander almost going down there. Another couple rockets hitting it right in the back there, down at 18%. I do believe he is going to be making it out of this, though. Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte's troops are just a little too slow, and laser towers are coming into effect here. So hopefully able to save this commander, but if he isn't able to, you probably know who killed him, right? If we see an explosion on this right side of the map, we know what happened. That's all I'm trying to say. Maximus able to, finally hold his position here. We do have Thugs from Large Frog, who has transitioned into a T1 bot lab, although he still has his aircraft playing here, trying to support him as well. But yeah, with these Hounds, he's now like the only T2 player on the map at almost 11 minutes in the game. So he's going to be, feeling a little bit of a power spike there. A lot greater of a power spike he would have had if, he was supported by another player from the beginning. But hey, we live and we learn, right? Large Frog was trying to be as helpful as he could. Yeah, and there's no sign of air from this cool colored team here. So I guess it just goes to show, yeah, should have had premonition, knock on air plant. Oh, see, that's why you go bot lab, so you got that extra economy here. Looks like, the thugs were requisitioned for Maximus's use. Large Frog is not interested in microing the front line, so fair enough. If you're like a lower TS player, just getting in the game, I can see how you kind of just want to stick on the old economy and just worry about your air stuff, right? That seems pretty good there. Well, I guess Bison, I don't know if this was gifted or Bison does have an aircraft plant at one point. I think it was probably gifted. That makes the most sense economically. Speaking of, the third commander to go down is another top-rated player here, or the top player in the lobby. So a guy who likes the sky, his commander is going to be going down to Maximus, who is, walking in with these Hounds. I'm losing a bit of ground. It's he's like Italian or something, even though he is. Is that Australia or New Zealand? Do I even want to know? Do I even care? They're both little islands over there in the Pacific. Nothing really happens there, so, poor Australian people. We all feel bad for you, even if you don't feel bad for yourselves. Stouts out here for Lewis, doing his best. Stouts are a really, really great Armada, centerpiece unit, but against Hounds are still going to be slightly outclassed, although, yeah, at least Thugs are taking those shots on the front line here. Bison trying to make a drive-by with some of these brutes, the Cortex main battle tank, medium tank, but they are going to be rushed down by pawns. Zerg rushed, yeah. Of course, brutes are better than pawns, and they even have some AoE in there, but when you get too many pawns, yeah, it's just over at some point. And now Bison's going to have a little bit of trouble holding this front line, trying to get some laser towers up here to kind of defend this choke point here, but not quite going to happen. Both laser towers not able to come up, and Mr. Tumnus doing a good job with these pawns here. Just held him in reserve, and he's going to be attacking. Oh no. The air transport plane also went down there. So sad. And yeah, Bison he's kind of in danger of getting his base invaded right now. I mean, they're right on the front line there. And we also have Moko Choco, who is Bison's rival this game, I guess. He's been dealing him a lot of damage. Also coming in to support Mr. Tumnus eventually there. Death Tortoise able to push up really, really far here. His commander didn't go down incidentally, so it is still up there. And he's taking these mexes. He's got some nice pounders, which are really, really great anti-clumped. They have fantastic AoE, so they're really, really great against any pawns or grunts that you may have, any T1 spam. And honestly, we still have T1 for like everybody. Now I do know Bison is getting his T2 economy up, but in terms of T2 units, it's still just Maximus here. He's doing a great job holding his position here. He's got two clumps of Hounds to try to micro, as well as some Thugs in the mix there. Against Machoko, who decided to go this way instead of forward into Bison's base. And also, he's trying to defend against a guy who likes Sky and Lewis. Oh, we do have Recluses out for a guy like Sky, so that does mean that his T2 plant is up. Of course, Recluse is not the greatest unit ever that you could be producing, but hey, he's going to be making some Hounds, a welder. He's getting his T2 up. That's what we'll say. A Ghost also coming out, doing a little frontline scouting. Might even destroy himself for an EMP there. We'll see. So yeah, Maximus shooting into these medium tanks here, doing quite a good job, but yeah, unfortunately the micro is like a little bit lacking. There's not a lot of places to maneuver around, so they're just kind of eating these rocket strikes from the recluses, which, you know, burst fire rockets, I can imagine those would be a little bit difficult to avoid. Maximus' commander also on the front line here with that D-gun as well, trying to do his best to defend that front line, and the Ghost does explode, stunning all of these hounds here. Now's the time for a guy who likes Sky to go in, but he doesn't really have a lot of units to capitalize upon that Ghost destroying itself, which is kind of rough. It does still hurt Maximus, of course, but it's not the great army killer that it could have been. And Ghosts are, forgive me, Ghosts are kind of expensive, are they not? 135 metal, not really. Okay, and a decent amount of energy, but okay. I thought they were a little bit more pricier, so yeah. Not a huge loss for a guy who likes Sky, but could have done a little bit better there, but yeah. Maximus's army definitely feeling the heat. Look at all this metal on the field right here. That's a lot of reclaim. Thousands of metal at least. And that could be taken up by an opportune player there, but no reclaim bots. We do have some T1 bombers out for Large Frog, finally getting some offensive damage in besides those thugs he did gift. Very kindly, I might add. Very generously. And yeah, these bombers are going to be going for Mokochoko's base here, who has been kind of the bane of the Warm Color team, at least for By Sun, although they... only one dropped its payload, which, typical T1 bomber strats. Not sure exactly what's going on there. They are taking out the old wind energy and kind of just harassing everything else in here. There's no anti-air, so they will just end up destroying all this. Although I would have go for somebody else's base, which has a ton of wind farms all clumped up right there. They do decide to go towards Lewis's base, as well as some, you know, wind farms that are owned by a guy who likes the sky, which actually is a name that I like saying because I know how to say it for a fact. Only 3 bombers left here. There was some AA in Lewis's base. Going to be going for another bombing run there, taking out some more wind farms. Nothing huge, but you know what? They definitely pay themselves off, I have to say. And Mokochoko is kind of dead in the water here. Does not have a great economy. Plus 8 metal, plus 130 energy. That's not something you can support any kind of army with, even just pawns and grunts. So not great for him there. Mr. Tumnus and Death Tortoise trying to defend here against By Sun, as well as a northern attack by Zydka. And, you know, some Napoleon blown apart troops, who looks like he has gone T2 here. Does have this Spectre sitting on the front line. And Sheldon starting to clump up. That Sheldon ball is always something you got to watch out for. Because just like the Rockabouts for T1, they can just sit back, get infinite damage. And Death Tortoise's commander, this might be it for him. I don't know if he doesn't see what's happening here. This commander is going to be under 50% health, is trying to move him away at this point, but it might be a little bit too late. There we go. If Zyka does move in, it might just be over. Down to 25% here, facing off against a little Spectre there. Yeah, down to 13%. There's no way the commander survives this. It does go down. Taking some T2 units with it, which is pretty nice, but yeah. Not great to lose the commander there. In terms of commanders, we do have 2 left for the warm colored team up north and 3 left for the cool colored team down south. So nobody's in, you know, danger, close territory of losing the game quite yet. Although By Sun managing to sneak past 4 grunts and 6 of these brute tanks into Mr. Thomas's back line. Never something you want to see after just being bombed. Actually, no, he just avoided the bombing. So I guess this is kind of, you know, Judgment Day for him. This is retribution for avoiding the bombing strike. And yeah, they definitely got some nice damage there in the wind farm. Mr. Thomas is kind of feeling the hurt on the energy level there. Still has good energy, but not the amount of energy that he needs for sure. And Mokochoko's base also getting hit once again. Unfortunate. Walking his commander back there, maybe hoping to get some D-guns in. T2 mech's going to be going down. Wasn't quite built there anyways. And yeah, it's really looking bad for the cool color team, especially in the center here. And it might just be over. The brutes are just here, you know, they're not opposed. Some hounds coming in from Lewis's base, and Lewis actually looking like the strongest cool color team player, if I have to say. If you're making me decide, that's what I'd say. Mokochoko's commander might be going down here. Oh, really close there. Down to 1%, less than 60 health there. Napoleon says I should go T3. That's crazy. Not sure if you need T3 here. I'm, you know, if anything, as the warm color team, I'm a little bit worried about this side of the front. But everything else you've kind of won. Honestly, if Maximus wanted to just move forward here, I think that'd be the best play. I don't think you even need T3. I think this is the game-winning army right here if you wanted it to be. I can make T3 if all give metal. Yeah, again, not really needed, I would say. We do have, yeah, Zyka just moving forward in Death Tortoise's defenses here. Death Tortoise, kind of an unsung hero. He's doing his best trying to hold this flank here, but not too much he can do. Kind of getting 2v1 for most of the game, although he was at one time kind of pushed all the way up here, so props. Yeah, now the last of his defense is kind of getting wrecked there. He does have fiends out on the field, and they're going to be fiendishly fiending, shall we say. I don't know. I need to think of a good pun for fiends. No idea. Bot's going to be trying to go up that mountain, but a little too steep for him, even if they are bots. The sad truth. Oh, we do have, yeah, some more T1 bombers from Large Frog. They're absolutely eviscerating some more wind farms for Lewis here. And yeah, I would say this game is quite over in terms of economy. The Northern Warm Color team is wrecking them with, you know, around 300 metal, 280 metal. And yeah, the big thing is that there's no army really for the Cool Color team. The most they have is this pawn army all the way up north, which is actually rather far. But the bad thing is that they're facing fiends, and fiends love taking out large groups of T1 here. So can't imagine this army is going to get too far. I don't know. Death Tortoise also making it pretty far with some fiends. Maybe the Cool Color team is coming back just a little bit. T2 Constructor about to go down there. But the biggest thing is that Napoleon Blown Apart's base is kind of getting wrecked here. Fusion reactor, probably newly built, going to be going down there. Only a couple fiends left for Death Tortoise, but some more ticks and grunts and pawns for Mr. Tumnus here. Yeah, absolutely eviscerating this orange player's base. Kind of unfortunate. Not exactly what you want to see if you are the warm color player. But I'm not. I'm just a spectator. I'm just a little guy. You have to understand. Your Honor, you have to understand. And yeah, this might have actually turned the tides here. Very, very good attack by the cool color players there. Mr. Tumnus and Death Tortoise swinging the odds back in their favor here. Lewis and a guy who likes the sky also pushing up here as well, securing this front. The main thing I'd say is this middle is really, really lacking. So even though we do have two players going forward here, we have to remember that Moko Choco is kind of dead in the water, right? His economy is eviscerated, plus 13 metal. That's not going to be getting him anywhere, which means that Bison just has a complete byway, if you will, right down the center of the map into, you know, kind of the strongest player's bases right here. So gonna have to be watching out for that for sure. Yeah, Bison's army currently not over there though. Going to be on the right flank here for the cool colored team. And he could really push forward with this army if he wanted to, but kind of he's probably thinking that these guys have a bigger army somewhere, right? Because this was just like a little raiding army, right? Even though that was all of their forces on this right side. Oh no. So the radar plane's coming in, which probably means a little bit of a bombing strike from a Large Frog. Got the Whirlwind bombers, T1 bombers in, all of it. This is the Strat bomber, yeah, I was going to say. Hailstorm getting destroyed there by AA. Unfortunate for that, for the Strat bomber, which could have done big damage. And yeah, these T1 bombing raids, you can't really bomb with 3 bombers when there's AA on the ground. Maybe that would work, you know, 4 minutes in the game, but unfortunately not anymore. Maximus has gone T3 as the Razorback. It gets blown up there and just, disappears. Just for a little bit, you know, semantics. Yeah, Gantry is up here for Maximus. Looks like he's not really focusing on his economy anymore at all, which I think you should always really focus on your economy, at least a little bit. But yeah, he's not too worried about that. Just focusing on making those offensive units. Lewis coming in here with the pretty good Hound Ball. Doesn't have any radar or jammer bots in here, unfortunately, which is kind of what you want in these kinds of builds. But going to be going toe-to-toe with this Tiger Heavy Assault Tank. And the Tiger's winning. Just kidding. Look how many... the Tiger's so bad. Oh, my enemies hate the Tiger. I think they've majorly buffed it since I've last seen it. It has really, really good fire rate now. Of course, with a little bit less damage. Does about 10% of the Hound's health every shot. And Hounds aren't really tanky units, so it's not great there. But I can imagine with more Tigers, you just have a ton of fire coming out of those tanks, which might be a little bit disconcerting. All right, there we go. More serious of a bombing raid here. Ooh. Almost, yeah, just clipping those Hounds. 3 Hailstorm bombers, 4 T1 bombers, or 5 T1 bombers. Let's see where those Hailstorms go. Really, really got to watch out for those heavy strategic bombers. And yeah, the Tiger's here tangling with all these ticks, and the ticks are actually winning now. there's just too many of them, you know. They just get to group up, block the shots for the, well, hopefully you'd have bigger bots in the army, but it seems like Mr. Thomas really just likes these kind of Zerg rush attacks, which is surprisingly effective for 25 minutes in the match. Not sure if it'd be that effective against better players, but hey, play to the people that you're opposing, right? I guess, I don't know. Yeah, Strat Bombers, going against these pawns, not really kind of what you'd like to see them doing, especially since there is anti-air in this army. And yeah, those bombers didn't really get a ton of value there. Could have been used in more of a backline play here. Maximus, really just clearing through the guy who likes Sky's army here. I didn't even notice that. All the way in his base now with Razorbacks. That's probably going to be it for a guy like Sky. T2 Advanced Bot Lab going to be going down, as well as all these mexes, really just anything in this area. One Razorback did go down there. There's only one left, but the only offensive unit here is the Welder. I would just take that guy out, honestly, but to each their own. He's not really doing a ton of damage. Of course, doesn't really specialize in single target damage. He is Zeus, of course. He is the great AoE Armada bot that people really like using. Again, I said it last game, but I guess Welders are kind of, I wouldn't say meta, because we haven't seen too many of them this game, and we've had a lot of Armada players, but they're more popular than they had been, that's for sure. A very vague statement, of course. You can't look into that statement because it's almost worthless. How do you like that? Maximus does get another Razorback to the back line here. Lewis's base also eviscerated. Luckily, he does have stuff up here. Unfortunately, that stuff was just bombed by Large Frog here. And yeah, Lewis is stunned, I guess. His commander not even moving. Down to 21%. Oh, gonna be going down there to that Strat Bomber. Large Frog finally coming into his own after, you know, doing some more minuscule raids in the earlier portion of the game. Finally getting these big damage in with his heavy Strat Bombers. He's found what he likes. And yeah, it is probably going to be GG for the Cool Color team. I thought they were coming back. I honestly thought that they might be able to come back. They did good damage to Zyka and Napoleon blown apart space, but in the end, they weren't just able to cinch the deal. That left flank here that Maximus was pushing on was just a big problem for him, we'll say. And yeah, now Moko Choco's base that was being rebuilt is kind of getting destroyed yet again. And still with these swarms from Mr. Thomas, I just can't imagine this is that effective, but I guess it is taking down the Razorback, so what can you say? Now, will that Razorback be going down before they resign? Yes. Fantastic. Yeah, it is GG. Both of, so it's a 3v5 at this point, which is not good, shall we say. Slightly bad. Is definitely something you could say. Thomas strong, yeah. Not strong enough, though. And it is the resign for the Cool Color team. So fantastic. Hope you guys did enjoy. Also, we'll be hopping into the second game here just so we can get, you know, make the video a little bit longer. Have another couple games in here. And yeah, see y'all later. Adios. I guess actually we'll look at the graphs real quick here. So Maximus doing very, very well. Bison also had a very strong economy there. I didn't really notice that, honestly. Yeah, actually had the best economy out of them in the end there. And yeah, poor Tortoise here. He did his best. He had the best economy in the Cool Color team, but it was still worse than the top two on the Warm Color team. And with that kind of economy, you're just really not getting anywhere. Poor Moko Choco, you can kind of see when he fell out of the race there, around 13 minutes in, 13 and a half minutes in. Yeah, never really able to recover there. So I hope you guys did enjoy that match. And you see, even though Maximus did have the second best economy, he did some of the most damage in the game. And you can see Large Frog also finally starting to do damage there around 14 minutes in, which is super, super late. So honestly, props to the Warm Color team. Did a great job, and I'll catch you in the next match. Adios. Alrighty, hello everybody. How is it going? Welcome back to, well, I guess not welcome back, because this is just going to be game 2 of our cast here. So, hope you guys are having a great day. A good day, even. We'll settle for a good day. We're on a pretty interesting map called Tangerine Remake. I don't think I've seen it before. It's actually one of the prettier maps. It's got very high contrast. Look at these. It looks like Caribbean waters. Beautiful, beautiful waters. Look, we even got some eggs in here. You know, just laying on the seafloor. What they might hatch, we're not sure. Maybe turtles. Probably turtles. Although, I've never seen a spotted turtle egg, but I've actually never seen a turtle egg in general. So there you go. So pretty interesting starts here, and something that I want to go over first. Another game with Maximus in it. Pretty low rated game though, but it is interesting because of the result and how it's played out. So I do want to go over it. So, starting here in the Cool Color team, we have Gurjan Sagers. And also, you know, it's okay to do like a low-rated game for the second one, right? Most viewers have already dropped off, right? I don't know. So yes, Guardian Sagers, not really sure how to say that. Playing Armada here, based in the light blue here. Stoat spawning just ahead of him in the Cortex, playing as a Cortex commander in the light green. And then we have DT Raver leading the cool color team as the dark blue player there. So very nice. So something interesting here with the starts is you can see that the warm colored team, so headed by Maximus and the Armada, Y2K Reprise, there you go, Year 2000 Reprise, Cortex Commander, and Toxicvast in the yellow, also playing Cortex. So why did they spawn like this? Well, who knows really, but my guess would be because if it is intentional, which it might not be with the lower OS teams, although they're all from the Netherlands, so maybe they're all teaming, right? Those Dutch players, you can never really know what they're up to, but what my guess is they're going to be trying to go for this seed lane, right? Instead of maybe I feel like this one might be a little bit more natural. I also feel like this map might be a 4 or 5 player map instead of just a 3-player one, or you know, that's what it was built for, but never quite sure on those sorts of things. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out. Probably no air players in this game, I couldn't imagine, but we do have DT Raver doing quite well here with 3 ticks, already grabbing, looks like 3 mexes, and probably going to be taking out this construction bot if they can get it. You know, it's just going to be about this commander walking over there, and it looks like, yeah, definitely not going to be able to make it in time, and I don't even think, yeah, he even wanted to. So that's Y2K really kind of knocked out in this early game. Still has 1 construction bot, still is his commander, but that's going to set him back quite a bit. He doesn't even have any metal production besides just, you know, the old +2 that he gets from his commander. So really hurting there. Oh no, he did have a mech back there, which was destroyed. So really building up his first mechs here at almost 3 minutes in the game. Really hurting there, but he does get his radar tower up, so I imagine those ticks aren't going to be a threat for too much longer. He's going to be trying to go after them, although I'd actually just kind of keep my commander there, but maybe he's protecting his other teammates here. Toxic with the bot lab. I imagine Maximus also going, yep, just for the bot lab there. Pretty strong start for him. Looks like he also had some wind farms and a mechs taken out, maybe by those same ticks. So really strong start actually for the cool color team, even though they look quite behind. So it's going to be kind of on Maximus to try to carry them. We're looking at the ecos right now. Early game ecos up to 26 there. Oh, some changes beeping at me. Proposed unit rework. Wow. Interesting. All right, some stuff for the old missile trucks there. Upon army being created for old Raver over here. I'm gonna be trying to blockade this left lane here. So I'm still interested. I'm still gonna be keeping an eye on here, see if any shipyards are being built there or any amphibious platforms. Not entirely sure if it's gonna be done, but I would like to see it done. I think it'd be a smart move. Oh yeah. Rip. Yeah, poor guy. So we do have Stoat moving forward here with a couple of grunts. No match against these 7 pawns that are going to be facing off with them. But, yeah, what are you going to do, right? He is actually able to kind of kite them a little bit. So, while they do have similar speeds, grunts do have the longer range. Now, of course, lasers do very minimal damage at long range. But, you know, if you're not getting hit by the pawns, it's a fine idea. Laser tower does go down there. As the commander's not able to, you know, produce enough upkeep for it to stay up there. And we'll turn all that silly stuff off there. Any hovercrafts being built. So a laser tower being built here, which I feel like means that he's probably not going to be going for a hovercraft platform or any kind of shipyard, because he's setting up a defense instead of, you know, knowing that he's going to be going on the offense, which I think, again, is kind of unfortunate. Either of these Cs provides a great entryway, either A, supporting the player pushing on this mainland, like you're never really going to expect that coming at you, right? Or B, just a really great backdoor into somebody's base, which is undefended right now. And looking at these, you know, the scores of these players, I imagine is going to be continually undefended unless it does get poked, right? So we'll keep an eye on that, though. Stoat still, you know, he's got his army moving up here, a bigger army than Maximus, that's for sure. Looks like he's thought he was just going to be moving his commander in there. You're never sure, right, with these lower TS games here. Gurchen also supporting the front line here. So the only player that we haven't seen yet is Toxicvast. He didn't really suffer any casualties in the early game, but he has not made an army. So they might be planning for him to be sort of an eco player, while, you know, Y2K and Maximus try to just grind out the front line, you know, maybe cede some territory, but eventually he's going to be on his feet and ready to go with that tier 2 around the 10-minute mark if he's good, which I mean, he's not doing too bad, right? And he is actually patrolling the coastline. So there are worse things in the world. I would only leave a couple out here, right? And I think supporting your frontline players is really important. But given how static games are with newer players, right? It's always very scary to be aggressive. I think I either talked about this in a video or it's a video that I didn't end up releasing. But Beyond All Reason is kind of interesting because as a new player, you kind of feel like you don't want to attack and you're way, way more defensive as a newer player, right? Just because probably you know in your head that you just don't have the resources that these other players do in terms of economy, army mobility, things like that. Army composition, also very important, especially in Beyond All Reason. Whereas something like a first-person shooter game, like an FPS, the newer players are super, super aggressive, especially if you ever play like Counter-Strike, like CSGO or anything like that. It is a very apparent who the new players are because they just go charging around corners and get wiped there. So kind of interesting to know. Not sure exactly why that's caused. Why, you know, RDS players kind of have more trepidation when they're newer. So it looks like Gurjan is sending over a bunch of grunts to Mr. Stoat here. Doesn't really feel like microing them. Would rather have Mr. Stoat micro them for him, which, yeah, it can make sense, again, if he's trying to eco. And yeah, with the addition of a radar tower and another laser tower, doubt he's going to be going on the ocean. The other team doesn't look like they want to try anything on the water either. Oh, well. Kind of actually an extension of what I was talking about. Also not willing to branch out into other areas like the Navy or hovercraft or anything like that. Not honestly that you should ever really be branching out on a hovercraft. They're so bad. They have never been good, honestly. They're good for that one surprise attack, and then after that, there is really no point in making them. You know, with like amphibious bots like T2 and stuff like that, yeah, it's fine. But, you know, hovercraft platforms just can't scale. Their T2 is non-existent, and, well, that's all she wrote for him, basically. Maximus getting quite pressured here by Stoat, the player in the green. Although he did lose a tremendous amount of his army to those D-guns there. Maximus is at 22 kills, right? So not looking too great for him there compared to Stoat, who I don't think he's gotten 2 kills. Yeah, so 2 versus 22. You can see how it's playing out. So Maximus doing quite well for himself there. He is in danger, but with some decent micro of his commander, he's going to be fine. And he's also getting that reclaim of the metal, which, again, you don't really see newer players doing, so it's good that he's doing that as well. Y2K getting pushed back here by some rocket bots from Mr. Raver. Very, very nice. Right now, so what is Tox doing? He's still patrolling grunts around. His economy is... it's okay. So he's at 23 metal. Maximus is at 18, so it's not honestly even that significantly different. Definitely not worth, right? Not sending anything to the front line. He sent 3 rocket bots, okay. And also helping his teammate out, telling him to make some radar. You gotta love some backseat gaming, although he's definitely not wrong here, right? But I don't know. I feel like I would never critique a teammate if I was not contributing that much. But you know what? Different strokes for different folks. And we've seen a lot of, how do you say, toxic players on this channel before. Nothing new to gaming or life or Beyond All Reason. There's just those people that exist, you know? Yeah, this left side again, super static, but with Maximus, and honestly, Stoat is being very, very aggressive, more than Maximus even, which I think is fantastic. Always love to see newer players getting aggressive there. And then, of course, we do have some more reclaim bots from Maximus. Doing quite well for himself, I do have to say. In terms of general economies, it is pretty even across the board, all things being considered. Revived Pawn there being sniped out. Hate to see it. Looks like we do have a hovercraft from Gurjan. So I was actually wrong. Let's go. He made a hover... This isn't working, rough. He did make a hovercraft platform, which I think is this smart move. And he's got, what, some Seekers over here, which are just little shooter bots, little peewee guys. And they're going to be going probably around here either to support this push or to dive into the back line. Let's see if Toxic Vast's defenses are enough here. Will they be? Depends. Thugs with rocket bots out now for Mr. Toxic on the front line, which, yeah, it's good. He is supporting his mate there. And Thugs, of course, very, very good at holding front line. One of the best T1 units in the game. I say it constantly. They're just really fantastic in general. Yeah, Maximus almost pushed back past his choke point line. Yeah, another couple pushes there from Stoat, and it is not looking too great for him. He's going to be inside his base. Orange, make it T2. Oh, Orange actually with the advanced bot lab. Really, really interesting why Orange has the T2 and not Yellow. And now Yellow is making a T2. And a T2 constructor wasn't even shared. This is really interesting. Yeah. It's kind of interesting to go from higher level players or at least mid-range players to, you know, kind of the lower end of the scale here. But yeah, I haven't done one of like a lower rated player game in a very long while. So it's definitely interesting. Advanced constructor is being shared to Maximus though, which I think is the right play. Maximus, if I'm on the warm color team, that's the person that I'm relying on. Everything's going over at him because he is significantly better than the other players. Although, if you're to look at the scores right, I mean, there's no score. If you're looking at the map right now, it's not looking too good for the warm colored team here. I'd be interested again to see how these fast attack hovercraft do. The old Seekers floating along on the water there. And look at that nice idyllic water. A little purple, a little touch of cyan. Very idyllic. But yeah, you can see these corpses here. Or corpses, that's a big word. Robotic Huss here, just lying on the ground in front of the blue player, not being reclaimed. No reclaim bots for him. Again, really, really important thing to have to support your frontline pushes. But just not going to be happening. Looks like Mr. Sagers also made a geothermal power plant. Going to be sharing that with his teammate on the front line, which again, I think is really, really smart. Your frontline players are the people that are making sure that your base isn't being invaded, right? So giving them all the resources that you can is a really good idea. And I really enjoyed the teamwork here from the Cool Color team. I think this game contrasts really well with the video I posted last time. Not the game in this video, but my last video, where the team that was doing better was way more toxic than the losing team, and it actually caused them to crumble. So good teamwork here, even though you are, you know, point-wise behind. You don't have as good of a player rating. You're doing quite well for yourself. And look at these fast attack hovercraft go. And he's doing well, keeping them outside of the blast radius of that geothermal power plant. Whether that's on purpose or not, who's to say? I think it might be. He's getting a little close there. This must be almost down, right? Yes, it is. Oh, okay, he got... okay, never mind. I praised him too early. He did get quite close there, but manages to take out half his army with the power plant. Commander gets rid of the rest, but nice little raid there. Grabs, I think, 2 mexes and a power plant. It could be way worse for him. Yeah, so that kind of stuff again. So hovercraft going to be going back out. Now, I wonder if he's going to mass them again or if he's going to just straight line them into the base, knowing that the other player is weak. I feel like the smarter decision would be to mass them, right? Because if you're just trickling them in at this point, you know your opponent's going to be building up an army. Like, you didn't do that much damage, right? So I think it is smarter just to wait. Maximus's army looking pretty full of rockets here. He is just trying to get his economy up to tier 2 before he does go for a tier 2 lab, even reclaiming his lab, his T1 lab, that is. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. He can't replenish his army at the current moment. So if one battle and he's lost, that's the big thing there. So if Stoat knew, if he had vision, which he doesn't, and it'd be really hard to unless you had air power or something like that, you'd be going in right now. But because, you know, everything lost here is lost forever, except for reclaim bots. But if you lose the battle, not gonna be able to access those robot husks. I think saying corpses devalues me in the algorithm. Not entirely sure. Mr. Sager's here, so he does have this nice radar back here. Unfortunately, the elevation's too low to really see into anything, but you know, it's still good. Watch out for any attacks. He's making some more hovercraft, up to 20 now. Very, very nice. We're looking at economies. They're still pretty even here. Sagers has probably the best economy on his team, I'd imagine. Yeah, he does have these C mexes, which is nice for him. So 34 metal for him compared to the top player on the other side. Going to... yeah, Maximus with 31. He does have those T2 mexes. Orange army almost completely destroyed. Grunt's going to be reinforcing the front line there as the thugs and the rocket bots hold from Mr. Toxic, who's still going for that T2. Going to be making some Sheldons here, so nice to see some T2 bots on the front line. And in terms of tier 2 for the cool color team, we do have an advanced bot lab for Mr. Raver. Yeah, vehicle plant there for Stoat, but not an advanced one. And nothing for Mr. Sagers here either. So again, yeah, with that hovercraft, you kind of have to use it early. I say kind of. You really, really have to use it early because this stuff gets obsolete fast. It's obsolete in tier 1, and it's even more obsolete in tier 2. Still going to be pushing the attack on Maximus here with those rocket bots. Again, nice range. They can poke really well, but he is out rocket botted, unfortunately, so those thugs going to be trying to move in, close the gap. Taking a lot of shots, though, and there's just not enough mass here for him to really move in. Some light artillery also poking at these rocket bots. I think it's a smart idea and probably why he made that vehicle plant. Really no other reason unless you want to go medium tanks, which of course are also very good. But yeah, a little slow. Or unless, I guess the bots were shooting too fast, and ooh, a lot of that artillery does get sniped out there. Gauntlet made here as well for Mr. Maximus, up to 7 kills, getting an 8th one there. So that's going to be quite effective, making Stoat, or forcing Stoat to attack or retreat. And what does he decide? He decides for the retreat there, it looks like. Well, a little bit of a retreat. Gauntlet has pretty big range, and also this map is quite small, so you're going to have to be retreating a little bit farther than that. And of course, these static defenses are also going to be taken out. Ooh, a big Sam up here. That's rough. Be a bad thing to lose. 300 metal. Nothing to sneeze at. 60 minutes in the game. Well, maybe 60 minutes, but you know, when it was built, probably around minute 10, it's not. Hovercraft actually redirected away from here over across the continent onto the other sea, which I really like. I think that's a good idea because Toxic, of course, already knows about the hovercraft viscerally. He feels it in his gut. Not that he's prepared either way. He's still got the same patrol crap going on. No defenses, nothing like that. No radar. But yeah, orange player, nothing on the coast here. No defenses. He's got this construction bot hanging out. Might spot some guys, but yeah, it is not looking too good for homie. We do have a beamer being made here in by the construction hovercraft. Is this what we say a a cannon rush in Beyond All Reason? Well, I don't know. Oops. Something like that. Something like that. Cannon rush, maybe that's a big word. The beamer going to be taking down this geothermal power plant. If it doesn't get out of the way here, that would actually be crazy if that happened. Hovercraft also there in the back line, not going to be able to support up that tall ledge. Yeah, excited to see if that blows, which I think it is going to. Maximus trying to repair it. Oh, but it's not enough. That's Maximus's base gone, and I think the game. Very nice. Always good to see. What? Yeah, you didn't know about the cannon rush. Should have foreseen it. Should have foreseen it. Yeah, perfect. That's a great thing about Beyond a Reason. You always get to do some fun stuff. Oh, and right as some platypuses made their way across the central lake by Maximus, which would have surely taken out Stoat's base here. Quite unfortunate. Sometimes that's the way things go. We'll see if they're able to scrap back, but now with the hovercraft in the back line as well, like this was a two-pronged attack even. It wasn't even just a one-off. Really fantastic by Mr. Sagers here. The Dutch people doing quite well. And there is the vote for the end of the game, it looks like. Yeah, vote did not pass, though. Game's going to be going on a little bit longer, and I think we should watch. Of course, yeah, the economy right now looking like it's plus 20 metal for the cool color economy. Although Stoat here, our green player who's done pretty well in the front line, has his base really, really badly beaten here. Not that he was ever an economic powerhouse per se, but not looking too good. He does actually have quite a bit of mexes over here. Still has his geothermal power plant, unlike Mr. Maximus up there. He did just lose his vehicle plant, some mexes, and I think a lot of wind power as well. I'm not entirely sure on that. Wasn't paying too much attention, but again, with that geothermal, you should be fine. Our yellow player here, cranking a bunch of units out to the front line. Also drew everything off the coastline. This doesn't make any sense. So this is the information he has. He knows, okay, he's putting some more on patrol, but he knows that one player just got wiped out because of some hovercraft in the back line, and he also got hurt. His economy also got damaged, so he pulls everything off the coastline. Oh well, a little silly in my opinion, but he is going to be going for this assault. He does know that his team is behind, and with Beyond a Reason, economy snowball, so he does want to try to press that advantage. I imagine is what's going through his mind. Not entirely sure. Or maybe he's just seeing red. He's angry, man, and he's coming for our poor blue player here. But the blue player has quite the stacked defenses set up, actually using walls, which also is mostly a new player thing, because they're not super useful, unfortunately. But this Overwatch, very good. He had another Overwatch out front, some lightning turrets to take out that T1 shaft, and he's able to mop those guys up a lot with a lot of rocket support in the back, so fantastic. Yeah, I didn't mean run into his defense. Oh, now he's walking around. He's trying to get some strategy in here. Takes out that laser tower there. And he's killing it. Yeah, it was an interesting attack. Now, thankfully, the blue player doesn't reclaim. Because, like, I don't know how much metal's on here. Sometimes it pops up. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, there we go. Yeah. 4.5, almost 4,500. So 4.2, including the stuff up here. So maybe just 4,000, we'll say, in this general area is all right there, and it's not going to be reclaimed. So that would be a huge boon for a more experienced player, but not for our Raver guy. We do have a Dreadnought, the battleship, for Armada up here for Sagers. And yeah, I kind of like the battleships. They're pretty good. They have decent range, good for shore bombardment, and they shoot relatively quickly. I do believe they've been reworked too. But I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I can't really ever keep the Navy straight in my mind. I just know Dolphins are good, but then like mid-tier Armada's kind of bad. Their frigates are worse, but the Dolphin's better. Or is the Dolphin the frigate? Guys, I don't know. Don't quote me on it. Well, I guess I can look, can't I? Oh, and they also have the new ships enabled. Well, this is T2, so it's not gonna. Yeah. What am I doing? I'm just being silly. Also, our music died. Sad days. No, I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, battleships also quite a bit of an investment. 6,600 metal here, just right here, and you can see how much 4,000 metal of T1 units was, right? So it's quite a big investment, but they're making some money and they're relatively safe. Nobody, it's just ships back up. No, he's patrolling. You don't understand. So, and they're able to just get infinite value because nobody else is on the sea, nobody's in the air. They can kind of just sit there. Gunslingers, T2, skirmish bot here for Raver coming in. They're relatively quick compared to something like the Welder. They also auto regenerate health, and on level up, they get increased range. So they just get better and better as time goes on, and they're quite good at staying alive. You can see here, they regenerate quite quickly. 1 to 2% at a time every tick. So pretty nice there. They're not like the commander regeneration. They're not as good, but they're still quite nice. Just back up. Just back up, man. Nah, I'm kidding. Poking a little fun. I actually really wanted to put this game in just because I love all of Maximus's submissions, but unfortunately, people are pretty good at sensing patterns, especially on my channel. Maybe it's just my audience, but they'll be like, they'll try to like guess who sent me the replay or something like that. And I'm not always sent replays. Sometimes I do find them, or I play games myself. But they'll start to notice a trend where like if there's a certain player involved, they always win. So I have been, trying to mix it up, trying to mix up the strategy. So I've been incorporating some of Maximus's own submissions here, and also some that I've just found by myself here. Yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed. So basically, I won't try to sugarcoat this. The orange color, or the warm color team, is doing quite poorly thus far. Really getting stomped in the economy game. If they don't tie things up quick, they never will. Maximus with a really good push here. Buy some hounds and some rocket bots as well. So again, really good value push, even though they can't self-heal or anything. They can kind of just stay out of harm's way for the most part if they're microed well, and Maximus is most of the time quite good at that micro game, so not too worried about those guys. As long as they stay at the extension of their range, they should be fine. Getting a little close here for my taste, but there we go. T1 lab is destroyed. Our poor green player feels like he's knocked out of the game again. Again, he still has the maxes over here, still has his T2 geothermal, but for how long that'll last, Maximus might want to go geothermal for geothermal. The gunslingers coming home here, trying to, make a front line over here while he's also defending against our yellow player. So at least Toxic is applying pressure while, after just being pushed there. So yeah, there we go. T2 advanced Geo going down, as well as Maximus's army, which is not great. And these gunslingers might be smelling blood and just go walking straight here because there's nothing there to defend, which is not good. And Toxic also trying to go along this mountain range, doing quite well actually for himself. Better than I would have expected, although it's a little jank. This is actually really funny. Yep. Average beyond a reason moment. Bombarding from the hilltops, shall we say. And the hound's getting in close. Yeah, a little too close for comfort, but those Sheldons have nowhere to go. And with that kind of clunky pathfinding up on the mountain, it is over for them. There's no retreat. Death before dishonor. That's what they're saying. And it is death for them, by the way, yes. Little sumo ball, 15 of them. Well, and a guy lagging behind, 16 or 17. From Y2K, going to be moving up the front line, just straight up there, not spread out, nothing. They're moisturized in their lane, living their best life, yada, yada. Looks like Raver is also concerned with holding this front line, which is why he has kind of split his army. But his little hound bulk here, I think, is enough to take care of these sumos. Again, sumos are like one of the worst things against hounds. They're slow, they don't have good range, and that's about all you need to lose to a hound. Unless, of course, you're like a juggernaut or something of the sort. In which case, you'd be just fine against a hound. Although, actually, juggernauts have good range, so scrap that. Looks like a battleship was lost here from Gurchan. I would imagine that is to a D-gun, seeing as I don't see a wreck or anything like that. But we do have the flagship here, which is what I wanted to focus on. And flagships aren't just regular ships. No, the Epoch for Armada has massive range, does massive damage. It's kind of like a very small, it's like a mobile artillery piece. You know what? It's fantastic, and we love them. And it is going to absolutely destroy anything that it has the sightline on, which would normally probably be Orange's base, but it looks like, yeah, Raver smells blood in the water. Gonna be going in there against these poor sumos, which are really ill-suited against hounds at range, but when they get up close, yeah, I mean, they can do damage, especially when battleships look like they're friendly firing just a little bit. Well, flagship and the battleship. We'll just say the ships, you know? Although, yeah, maybe the battleships didn't go down to D-gun there. Yeah, taking quite a bit of fire from those Saba batteries. It's going to be going down almost certainly. Yeah, unfortunate there. Leaving 2,000 metal behind. Ooh, barely a sight range over those mountains there. Yeah, good advice there from Maximus. Maybe a little too late. But, you know, it's not his job to advise the other players, right? Although maybe it is recommended. Commander being revived, revived here from Maximus. So yeah, he does want an extra commander there, which I think is good. You get another D-gun, which is great against pushes or big centerpieces like flagships or juggernauts. But you also get to stay in the game longer in case, you know, your teammates' commanders go down and you want more than just one, right? More than just one. That makes sense, yes. Okay, it does. Do you ever say things and you're like, did that make sense what I just said? Like grammatically? I know it made sense in my head, but I don't know. Maybe it's just, I imagine it's a thing everybody experiences. Alright, geothermal power plant. Is this the second one to blow up for the warm colored team? Now that there's a plasma deflector up here, that's great for toxic waste. I don't think that one is enough. Oh, definitely not. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, one is definitely not enough against a flagship. Maybe against one really long-range artillery piece, but that shield is going to be going down. Yeah, unfortunate. Ooh, taking a bit of damage there. Definitely going to be going down. Also didn't see this commander died here. Maybe that's what killed him. Dude, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the battleship situation there. So we do have some T1 gunships out here from Maximus, the old Armada Air Force baby. Gunships, not going to be great. They do help provide a flanking effect on enemy units, and they also can do damage in their own right. Good for doing a little bit of sneaky damage. Take down T1 mexes in a flash. If only Flash was here to save the warm color team. Honestly, despite all their setbacks, they could be doing worse. Obviously, they could be doing a lot better, and I don't really see a way out of this for them, but still up. Somehow this overseer didn't go down, which it was kind of a mistake not to focus that, because there's nothing here to build it anymore. And those nano turrets are self-destructing. Okay, I think the yellow player is probably just done. Oh no, sad. He doesn't know he can just leave the game. Maybe he's sabotaging his own team. Yeah, unfortunate. Yo, he is self-destructing everything, even some units here. Termite's going to be going down to the flagship and also to their own hubris, we'll say. And what's pumping out now? Some longbow missile cruisers, great for shore bombardment. And they don't need sight lines or direct sight lines. They can shoot quite easily over this mountaintop and really take out Y2K. Yeah, I mean, you know what? For being 8 OS, this guy knows what he's doing. Obviously, he has a good team supporting him as well. But his Navy understanding seems to be on par. Although, again, I think these guys are on voice chat, but I kind of always think that whenever I see the same nationality together, you know, it's like those little countries. Like, if you saw, like, 3 Finnish players playing together, you'd be like, what's the chances? The only Finnish player I know is Midvit. And I feel like the only one I've ever seen. But who am I to say? Pawns moving out. Moving out now, I think just for sightline, maybe? Yeah, he doesn't really have the units to take advantage of this. I have no idea. But I think that is going to be just about the end of the game there. With the longbow missile cruisers coming in, there's really no hope of saving yourself, even, which he's not even building, but even if he was to build a plasma deflector, doesn't quite work against these longbows because they do fire missiles, which even though they split almost into plasma looking projectiles, they're not quite. They're little cluster bombs. Nah, that's not what they are. They're bomblets, we'll say. I don't know what the technical term is. It is just a video game, not even a realistic one. There you go. I wish I could make whole armies out of energy and metal, although maybe that's all you really need. Yeah, Maximus trying to do his best to claw back his base, and he's honestly defending pretty well. But these pawns are doing quite well, absorbing some hound shots, allowing Raver to come in with a bit more of an advantage because Maximus can't just let a bunch of pawns slip through, but he also can't. He also wants to focus down this hound ball. But yeah, it is just over again. And Maximus, he must have lost his commander because he only has one right now, despite having reclaimed that one in the center. Even with only 6 players on the map, I still miss a ton. I should be fired from my job. Which is wait until people realize I do this for fun. So I don't really. Yeah, never mind. Unfortunate. Oh my gosh, it really hurts to see these arbiters doing nothing. I don't know if Y2K's just left the game or he's just a bit silly with it, but. No, when my long range of missile bots don't do anything. Yeah, Maximus has left the game, and that's going to be GG. That was good though. I had to throw that in there, Maximus. I really do love Maximus. He provides a lot of great replays to the channel, and I think he also plays a great game. I think he's quite good and better than his OS would suggest. So let me look here at the stats real quick. Also, you can always, might be the potential that these are alt accounts. You never know. So if we look at metal produced, yeah, our Gurchan player is really, really good in terms of eco. Now, something with that, again, is with these C-Maxes, he does have just a lot larger of an area to expand to. But I feel like maybe this isn't an 8 OS player. But who am I to say? I don't know. Maximus also played a great game. He had a lot to work with, you know, definitely newer players. Like none of these guys were using alt accounts, I don't think. So he had some trials and tribulations there, but I think people played well. I really like the use of the Cannon Rush A, which I think honestly cinched the victory for them, but also the great use of Naval and Hovercraft as well from our light blue player who kind of stole the show. So yeah, hope you guys do have a great day and you did enjoy both of the games, and I'll see you all later. Adios.